The Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. We would not be where we are without the incredible support of John and the team. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information or follow the link in the description below. And as this is 90 after 90, I want to thank our sponsors, Cosmetic Repair Solutions, an independent award-winning network of vehicle accident repair centres located in Chesterfield, Rotherham, Dinnington, Barnsley and Derby. Visit the website to find out more or get an estimate at cosmeticrepair.co.uk.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
What is happening, Blades? And welcome back to the Blades Ramble. This is 90 after 90. We are here come rain or shine, aren't we? We're here. What has happened today? What has happened? What has happened to us? We have been battered, is what's happened. We've been battered by Bristol City. In terms of the scoreline, I don't really know where to start, if I'm completely honest. We were so a lot of us were so excited to be back up and running, and the season's here, and we're all so excited. And we get that. It was one of all our fears about what could go wrong with this team went wrong today. I can't really find the words to put in place as to how I feel about it. I'm frustrated. I am disappointed. I'm a little bit shocked at how poor we were at times today. Couple of things I want to touch on. I think we're on the way, but obviously I go to the games with my dad and Eki out Sal, my auntie Sal, and we always get a chance to through game we're trying to dissect it and understand what's going on. And obviously it's raw emotion at that point. And then in car on way home, you listen to a few callers on Football Everton, and you try and get hold of manager's interview, and you look at a few comments online and things, and try and get your head around it, and now get a feel for how the fan base is. We've obviously got the Platinum chat as well, which sort of steers some of it. There's been really high emotions in there just glancing at it. So, yeah, we'll have to pick that up when we can. But it's... my dad said on way back that if you look at some of the stats from the game, and we always say that stats can be deceiving, and they can, but they had an XG, expected goals today, of something like 1.5. These figures won't be right because I'm going off the top of my head off what my dad read off somewhere, so I don't even know the site that he got the information from. And our XG was 2.6 or something like that. So we were expected to, in the pattern of play, we were expected to score more goals than they were today. So we should have won. That is the broadest way of saying it. Now, again, that's just one statistic in the way that the game goes. But I think they, and I don't want this to be taken out of context, but I think they got quite lucky at times today in the way they defended. But they were throwing their bodies on the line. I thought the goalkeeper had a very good game. I thought the two centre-halves had a very good game. I thought they played well as a side. I don't think you can take a lot away from Bristol City. Their fans were absolutely loving it, and understandably so. I think we were very good going forward. After the first 10 minutes, I thought the first 10 minutes looked very disjointed, a little bit all over the place. Didn't really know like we knew what we were supposed to be doing. Ridiculous foul. Ridiculous foul in the first 5 minutes, right on the edge of our box, when they have got probably the best free kick taker in the league. I know Ryan Manning will have something to say about that after this morning, but after earlier today. But Scott Twine is known to be able to put it in a postage stamp, and he did that. And he put it past Mike Cooper, who I thought had an uncharacteristically poor day today. Not that he could have done an awful lot, but everybody knows what I think of Michael Cooper, and I don't think he had a good showing today, in all honesty. I don't think anybody did, really, if I'm honest. But I could go through the team. I could tell you that I thought Femi was ineffective. I thought it was decent going forward at times in the first half. And the only praise I can give people is for the first half performance after the first 10 minutes. Thought Femi looked okay in that respect, but again left huge gaps behind him at the back. I thought Tyler Binden looked like the only line of defence at times. And even he was questionable at the odd occasion, but I think he must have been thinking, what have I come to here? What have I walked into? It looked an absolute shambles. Reece Norrington-Davies is not a centre-half. He is not a centre-half. And I love Reece, but what is he doing? What is he doing? I'll tell you what I don't like. Reece Norrington-Davies is not the player he once was, but he's playing out of position as a centre-half. Certainly in a 2. It's just, yeah, it were really poor today. But I'll not get behind people who cheer when he gets taken off. He's one of our players. That's equivalent to booing somebody when they're on. But you can get frustrated and you can moan and groan at your players, but you don't cheer when they get taken off and stuff. I just think it's poor. It's unnecessary. I thought Harrison Burrows were ineffective today completely. So I were really disappointed. The defence was an absolute shambles as a collective, and I don't get any pleasure in saying that. We knew we were weak going in defensively, and I want to apologise to some blades that came on here and said that we were throwing away our chances of getting 3 points today, because I thought we'd have enough, and we should have had enough. But they were right by getting rid of a Nell in the first week, and I'm not saying a Nell makes all the difference, but that back line today was woeful. And then you go one forward, and Sidney Peck, look, again, Sidney Peck, great young player, and if and when he leaves Sheffield United, it will likely be for big money. But he was being asked today to do a job that he's unfamiliar with, and he didn't do a good job of it, in my opinion. He did what he could, but he looked uncomfortable and out of position a lot of the time. He's not Vinny Souza. Don't ask him to be, because he's not. Where's Samari? If you want somebody for that role, and we've brought somebody in to play that role, where is he? I just didn't understand it. And then Gus Hamer, a little bit all over the place. Wasn't, again, disappointing by his standards. We know what he can do. And as soon as the early 2 first half goals went in, the third and the fourth, if you like, for Bristol City, his head went down and he never recovered. Callum O'Hare, who's been subject of a lot of talk in our Ramblers chat group, by the look of it, I could just see things popping up, and he was the main topic of conversation. I thought he was probably our best player in a lot of ways, and I think it's easy to say that because he stands out when he does things well in an attacking sense. So it's very easy to pinpoint players like that, but I thought he did very well, and there's been some criticism of him not tracking back and stuff like that, but that's not really, as a 10, that's not his primary objective. He should be coming back and helping the team, no doubt about it, as should the wingers, and it's a team effort, and it's a high press. Nobody presses better than Callum O'Hare. The only criticism I'd have of Cal would be he doesn't pull the trigger when he gets the opportunity. And I think there were a couple of occasions today where he could have had a shot, and he chose not to, and he overplayed it slightly. And it was just so disappointing. I thought Andre Brooks were largely ineffective. A couple of decent touches, but he's not the answer. He's not the answer on the right wing. Louis Barry started well first half. Thought he faded significantly in second. And Tyrese Campbell, I thought worked hard today. I thought he took his goal well. Really well worked from Callum O'Hare as well. I thought he took his goal well. And we're feeding off scraps a little bit. So I thought he played well as well. Well is a strong statement, but he went for 90 minutes, which is a real sort of feather in his cap for somebody who struggled for so long to make that 90-minute mark. His fitness has been a real issue for him. There's reasons all of our players are not Premier League players. Callum O'Hare, if he was faster, would be a Premier League player. Gus Hamer, if he was more consistent, would be a Premier League player. Tyrese Campbell, if he was fit, if he was a fit player with probably half a yard more, he'd be a Premier League player. So there's all these sort of reasons, and it was good to see him get through 90 minutes today, but really disappointing, and I don't really know how to sort of get my enthusiasm back now. It sort of feels we'll be all right. We'll regroup and we'll go again, but it's so deflating. and demoralising. This is 90 after 90 anyway, so I'm going to get some callers on very shortly. So our Platinum Ramblers are able to call in and have their say. I've got some people waiting backstage. That's probably all we'll take for tonight in terms of getting through everybody, because I can see the amount of comments is just absolutely crazy. Michael starts us off saying, "Evening, Jimmy. Robinson is our best defender. That says a lot." Says, okay. Revenge is ours, says Michael. 4-1. For some reason, it's not showing on the doodah. Why is it not showing up on the thing? Oh yes, I see why. Can I change that? No, I'm not sure I can. So I might not be able to get comments on stream. That's. Oh, hang on. I might be able to. It's just. I want to know how you guys are feeling about it, because I can't shake this feeling. It's really annoying me, and we just need to get over it quickly, don't we? Let me see if I can sort this out. Forget the lot of it. Sure you want to remove it? Yeah, I am. Get rid. We'll have to just go with no comments on screen, because that's something that will need to be looked at, I think, going forward. So bring back Wilder. This is a lot of what I've seen. I'm not sure about bring back Wilder. I'm not sure. It's not going to happen, is it? Let's be right. Bring back Wilder. You can't be saying that. In fact, if I knock this off, where's the certainly table ticket clock? No, is that? No, it's still not going to show. Okay. Danny says, bit of good news, Jimmy. Heard rumours that Robbo might be off to Wrexham once we've got cover. I've heard the same, Dan. I've heard the same, that he might be going to Wrexham. Is that good news at the moment? I think he's a decent backup for us. I know I give him stick, but you look at what we've got now, and we're threadbare, aren't we? Completely threadbare. Coatsy says it's crazy that the window doesn't shut before the start of the season. Starting a competitive game with Bindon and Reece Norrington Davis is ludicrous. We need to look in the first... we did look good in the first half, though, but nothing went our way. Martin says, evening, Jim. Can I just say, seen it all before, but still go back for more. 56 years of watching them. I ain't going to change. Up the mighty Blades. Oh, mate. I'm with you. I will get there. It's hard when you've been so enthusiastic for the season to start, and then you get a sucker punch like that. It's an absolute kicker. But anyway, I'm gonna bring in my first guest now and see if I can work in the background on trying to get this resolved with the comments. So, without any further ado, it's the man in black. It's Gaz Dunn. How's it going, pal?
Yeah, I'm good, Jimmy. How's you?
I'm all right, mate. I'm all right. It was a bit of an echo. I don't know how to resolve that, but hopefully we'll be okay. Yes, mate. I'm all right. In the grand scheme of things. It's just disappointing, isn't it? Did you get to see the whole thing today?
Yeah, I couldn't get up because I got back Thursday, but I sat here, watched it with our young'un on the TV and that. So it's just a bit disappointing, isn't it? I look at it this way. It came in, the board wanted to go in a different direction, we're told, and that's why they wanted to get rid of Wilder. I didn't see anything different. And as in our style of play, our formation, anything like that. And you're right in what you say. We're not going back to Wilder, but I was expecting something a bit different potentially. And I know we haven't got the team in to do that right now, but it just seemed very last season. No difference, in my opinion, on that thing. I suppose that's one thing. I think my concern now is we've just lost 4-1 first game of the season. I can't remember when United have ever done that. I was trying to think back to when I think of a first day of the season that bad for a result. It's not ideal. We all know that the centre halves was the problem. We all know that.
Yeah.
I knew that going into game. And to put a little bit of positive, we weren't that bad in the first half. No, we weren't. We dominated. The first half we dominated, and
after the first 10 minutes, I thought we did. After the first 10 minutes, I thought we were good.
That's a fair point. Like, I think once we got settled in that, we dominated for 35 minutes. We got a bit naive. I think for Burrows and Femi to be pushing on both at the same time and leaving our two centre halves, let's be honest, one Norrington Davis, And well, obviously with no pace at the back anyway, and leaving them two pretty much on their own at the back, I thought was a bit naive. I always think if one goes forward, both don't go forward. You know what I mean? So I think, and especially with Femi's pace, and I know he's trying to influence play going forward, and so is Burrows, but I don't know. I think we're a bit gung ho at times, and I think that's why we got caught.
I agree, mate. I agree. I think we were saying before the game, I was talking to Dave the Nose about it. We were in Fan Park, and with that team that we set up with, we're either going to dominate the midfield and go forward and cause them some real problems, or if they get through our midfield, we are in big trouble. And that's what seemed to happen, really. It was whenever towards the back end of the first half, it swung our way and we dominated possession, and we did overall dominate possession, but they were for different reasons, obviously, which we can come on to. But in the second half, the last half hour of the first half, so beyond the first 10, 15 minutes, we were good going forward, and we looked a real threat every time we went forward. They were hanging on at certain times, and yes, they went in 2-1 up at the end of it because it were a real sucker punch when they got back in front at 2-1. But I thought we finished that half in the ascendancy, and you'd have backed us to come out and at least, and not keep a clean sheet because the defence had been our problem all afternoon, but not keep a clean sheet second half, but I at least fancied us to go on and trouble their goalkeeper a little bit more than we did, and it just never came off, did it? Never came off.
They didn't even come out of the changing room second half. And then, let's be honest, we didn't really create anything till about the 85th minute either.
That's true.
I don't know what... For my opinion, in the changing room there, you're going on saying, right, just carry on doing what you're doing, it'll come, just maybe be a bit more cautious at the back. But other than that, you continue doing what you're doing. And it's, I suppose one positive, I do think with Campbell, we'll score goals. I think we've got a 20-goal striker there a season. I really
20?
do. I can see if he stays fit, that's a 20-goal striker there, in my opinion.
Wow.
He had one chance today and he took it. You think, right, he had one chance in the playoff final.
He did.
Took it.
He did. To be fair, I have, and to be honest, look at this. I have not only sorted the comments out while I've been talking to you, I've also sorted your audio out now. So I'm actually feeling a little bit better already as it goes, Gaz. So
there we go.
He is. I have put out feelers out there that I was concerned, and this is just me being completely honest, that I thought he had the best season of his life last season. And was that going to be the best we've seen of Tyrese Campbell? Will we now get a little bit of a patchy version of him? And we haven't, to be fair. We haven't. He looks like he has started as the way he finished last season. And like you say, he looks a real danger man. There's rumours that Everton have got him on a long list, which, that's going to happen.
Very long.
Yeah, let's hope it's very long. That's a fair way of putting it. Everything is in flux, though, isn't it, at the minute? We don't know how these transfers are going to go, how this board is going to operate. It's a concern, isn't it, mate? So what centre halves we need? Were there anything else from today that you thought stood out to you? Because I thought there were a couple of things that jumped out at me.
I don't think Peck and Hamer can play together in the midfield like that.
That were one of them.
Yeah, I think you said it earlier. Peck's not Sousa. We need a Sousa player in there. And that's my other concern. 3 years on the bounce now, and I don't know if this is a Betis thing. I don't know if it's a recruitment thing. I've no clue. 3 seasons on the trot, we've turned up to a game with not our best team straight away. When you think about it, come the first week of September, that's always our strongest team. I don't know why we can't hit the ground running like other clubs are. I don't know what's going on behind. We've brought in £22 million or thereabouts this over the close season, and we've spent less than £1 million. I'm like, what's going off? Let's sell her now a week before season starts. I'll be honest with you, letting Kiefer Moore go, I don't get that either, to be honest with you.
Don't you? I agree with that.
I generally don't. The reason I don't get it is you need a replacement. Currently now up front we've got One, Cannon and Campbell.
For one spot though. For one spot, which I think
for one spot, which is fair, but we get an injury, we're screwed. I think, yes, get somebody who can play that Sousa role. And that's if he's going to play this way. My guessing is now, after seeing that game, unless he gets 4, 5, 6 players in, he's going to have to continue playing the exact way we played last season.
It's so disappointing because we all started with such optimism. I mean, I know some were cautious because we're obvious we were like going into the game, but it's so disappointing how it actually played out, because they look like a couple of sliding doors moments as well in the game where, you know, if a couple of these chances go in for us, then it swings it a different way, and it didn't. It's not. It don't mean to be sour grapes. Again, I think Bristol City played well and deserved the win, but it's from a Sheffield United point of view. They were clinical. They took the chances. I think they had 2 chances in first half and scored both, whereas we peppered the goal.
He had 4 shots on target, I think.
Is that what it was?
I'm pretty certain it was 4. It definitely was about the 75th, 80th minute. It might have got more towards the end when they had a couple of breaks.
It's a sad indictment, isn't it, then, of what, you know, how easy we were to penetrate. So
yeah, and let's be honest, I don't think Bristol City are going to be up there this season. I see him being top 10 maybe, but I don't see him pushing top 6.
They didn't look amazing, did they? And that was more disappointing thing. My Aunt Sal was saying, you know, if it had been a formidable side we were facing, not only can you understand it a little bit more, or sort of even sort of take it on the chin a little bit, but it could have been an awful lot more if a more clinical side were facing us. So it were frightening about how easy we were to score against, and there's a lot of work. We know that Michael Cooper's a class goalkeeper. I thought he were off it today.
Massively. I think he should have done better with that free kick, personally. Let's be honest, we all knew.
To be honest with Scott Twine, if you stand one side at a goal, he can put it in that corner. If you stand the other side, he can put it in the other. Especially when it's so central for him. So I felt for him with that a little bit, but I thought a couple of times he didn't look himself, and that were a little bit concerning. And people may now put 2 and 2 together and think, oh, well, does that mean his head's not in it and he wants away or whatever? But
that's what I mean. If Hamer's got offers on the table, if Cooper's got offers on the table, if Campbell's got this offer from Everton on the table, and you've just lost 4-1, you know what agents are doing, don't you?
Oh, mate, yeah. There's going to be a lot of talking there. The only silver lining I can take from this, Gaz, before I let you go, pal, is maybe this is a rocket that was needed for the board to realise how dire it is. The fans have talked about it for a little while, especially when Anel went, but we need reinforcements. And if that is not obvious now to the board, who are in, you know, this is last chance saloon really in terms of the parachute money, we need to be spending some money now to strengthen this squad and help the manager. I think I said on 3 Mardy Blades earlier on this week, will Ruben Sayers be under pressure if the result doesn't go his way? And both lads said to me, don't be ridiculous. And I said to him, I'm not saying he should be, but do you think he will be? And we get tonked today, and he is. We're already hearing calls about Sayers out, get it, you know, bring Chris Wilder back, which isn't going to happen, obviously. But I think he's been hung out to dry today. I think he's been hung out to dry.
He has, and I think
what's available.
Yeah, I think. I think I said it when Ruben took over. Because I didn't agree with the decision by the board at the time, to be honest with you. But I said it at the time. I goes, what happens if we're bottom half of the table come October? I said, what does the board do then?
Yep.
I goes, honestly, it's not Swansea next week's must win, in my opinion. Now he needs to turn this round, and the point is, unless they're going to pull in a couple of centre halves in the next week, he probably hasn't got the tools to do the job through no fault of his own, really.
I know.
And it's not ideal. I can't remember even when Hickey did that first game, when we played that first game at season. And we saw the squad and thinking, I think it was Palace, weren't it?
Traore and Asula up front. Yeah, I remember it.
Yeah. I think this is 10 times worse. I really do. I think this is 10 times worse.
Oh,
I'm trying to end on a positive. Campbell will score his goals this season. That's the first one. It can't get much worse. That's the second one. And we've got to sign third one. We've got to sign some players at some point, haven't we?
We have, and I'm sure we will, mate. I'm sure we will. Gaz, for people that don't know, Gaz is our qualified ref, one of our Platinum Ramblers that, he's a great contributor. When you're able to, because you're not always able to be as tuned in as you like, have you? Being on your travels, you're going away to Vegas, aren't you, soon? So
yeah, Vegas on Friday, so I'm looking forward to that.
Spot on, mate. Yeah, but the man in black, we call him, because he's our resident ref. So we're going to be getting together on Ramble FC soon, when you're back, and we'll go through a few things about that. I thought he did well today, to be honest, referee. I know he got some stick from crowd when he were attending to players who'd gone down quickly and stuff like that, but I thought he did okay, to be honest, today. We're letting a few things go. Didn't mind it. Yeah,
and to be honest with you, I see that penalty decision's a good when non-penalty decision, where he's kicked the floor. He's kicked the back of him. I've seen him give him at lower leagues. Seen him give him. So yeah, he was all right today. Yeah.
Gazmataz, top man, thank you for joining us and sort of cheering me up a little bit. I really appreciate it, pal. And have a great time if I don't see you before.
Yeah, cheers, pal. Take it easy.
All right, buddy. See you soon.
Pal.
Ta-ra, mate. Nice one, Gaz. Thank you for jumping on and being our first guest, mate. Right, let's get to some more comments. There are loads flying in, so I'm not going to be able to get to them all. I do apologise. I am not cherry picking. I'm just going to jump in to some random ones. Walking back to the station, I overheard someone say, well, you can blame Wilder for that, says Tim. Oh, my word. FX Pilot says, why wasn't Samari given a run out when the game was already gone? We need centre-backs and a centre midfield destroyer now. For me, I agree with this, FX. Samari was perplexing when you saw how the game was going. I wasn't against Peck and Hamer starting in the middle together, but we know what we are risking when we start those two together, and that came to fruition, didn't it? That was the risk we were willing to run. And now you've got a reason to take one of them out of the side, and I include Gus in that, by the way. You have a reason to take one of them out of the side and put in Samari, who's a more defensive-minded midfielder, because otherwise we have got the vulnerability of being overrun again. So I think we need a central midfielder, a destroyer, like we talked about, a ball winner in the middle there that can just tidy things up and screen the defence a little bit better. We need certainly one centre-half by Swansea. No doubt about it, we need one. We need two before the end of the window, but we need one by Swansea, because otherwise we're in the same boat as we're in now. And I know Jack Robinson came on, but he fills me with no confidence, I'm afraid. And I might turn a little bit more direct with some players. I thought Sariki, again, we know he's okay going forward. I didn't think he was brilliant, but we know he's okay going forward. Had a couple of nice early runs. Defensively, he's left wanting. Harrison Burrows today needs to do better. So we need a right winger. Andre Brooks, ineffective for me on the right-hand side. It's not good enough for a team that wants to be top-end championship. We can't be all nicey all the time if we're really upset and sort of we're quite concerned about how things are going. That game today gives you the evidence you need to say we need this, we need that, we need the other. And I get it's one game, but there's a lot of work to do here. Drew has been a member for 22 months. Thank you, pal. Up the blades, up the ramble. It's free to hit that subscribe button. Thank you, mate. He also says R&D isn't a fullback, to be fair to him. Hang on. Isn't a fullback, to be fair to him. But it was the weak point in the friendlies, and any team facing us will make him a target. I think you mean he isn't a centre-half. He is a fullback, because I agree with that point, if that's what you're saying. He's a left-back by trade. He's played left centre-half in a 3. Me and James from Matilda Shakes were talking about this on the way home, actually. But he's not a centre-half in a 2. He's not. Ben says it's one game. I'm not saying there isn't concerns, but a bit early to jump to doom and gloom. It's just disappointing, though, Ben. Really disappointing. Against a team that we're expected not necessarily to beat. I would have expected us to beat them, but that's not being disrespectful to Bristol, or it's certainly not intended to be. They're a decent side at championship level, but if we're expecting to be playoffs pushing for automatics, you've got to be winning these home games, and we weren't at the races today, and that were really disappointing. So if that's doom and gloom, for me it's just disappointment in a missed opportunity, and now a little bit of tinged with a bit of concern as to how urgent some work needs to be done. Diane says Wilder will be laughing his socks off at the American Pollocks. I'm gutted. Bean says we're 4 starters short, never mind the rest. Centre back, right back, defensive midfield and right wing. Only positive from that is that it must give the board a kick up the backside. Nothing else will. Me and Bean on the same page. George says, didn't see that coming. Keeper kept the minute. Yeah, I thought that you have to remember that as well. Their keeper and I think they had something like 9 blocks and we had 1. Which tells you the difference in the defence. I've lost your comment now. But their keeper and centre halves were very, very good. How we didn't score another in the first half is beyond me. We fell to pieces right from the beginning of the second half. We need to sort this defence ASAP. Jack says the fact that we started the most important season with that defence is poor from the club. No excuses. Attacking was brilliant until we got put into the dirt. Bindon and Reece Norrington Davis were so poor. I disagree. I think Bindon did well. Westwood says, you're listening, Dave the Nose and Man Mountain. People were turning the nose up at Jimmy Dunn. I wasn't. The boys were. He starts today, and the game doesn't finish like that. Oh, I'm not sure about that. You can't say the one man would have been the saviour. This is on the owners for me, not Sayers. A serious starting 11 investment is needed now. I agree. It's going to be a big test for the new owners. This Extreme Dave says, mate, if this carries on, we'll end up in League One again. You can't say that after one game. That is doom and gloom. That's catastrophising stuff, isn't it? Andy says, I called this when he was appointed. Why on earth get rid of Wilder after the season he had with all the issues he faced last season? That decision could cost you 5 years out of the Premier League. It could. We've got a huge hole in our back line that needs sorting with experienced players. Yeah. I don't know if people have been watching 3MB from this week, but this is exactly what I was saying. I agree. I do agree with you. Rye Swift says, cannot play with only 8 attack-minded players. No, it's madness. Reece Norrington, Davis, Bindon, Sariki, Brooks and Peck cannot be in the first 11. Bindon, I think's good. I think he did okay. I thought he were hung out to dry a little bit today. So, yeah, tough to say that about. Hang on, we've got a few people waiting now. So I'm going to have to get some callers. But I think I struggle to say that Bindon didn't deserve his place in the team today. I thought he were hung out to dry a little bit, as I said. So, let's see what else is being said. Ben says, evening Jim, attack we look good, defence we are so vulnerable. If we play Hamer and O'Hare together, we need a ball-winning midfielder. I rate Peck, but that's not his game. Still upbeat, one game won't define a season. Up the blades, like and subscribe. Yeah, Daniel Loeb says, this is bringing me back to when we first played Sayers in that whole game, just in all the wrong ways, but there were some good signs offensively. Bringing a centre-back and we'll roll the league. Is anybody still really that confident? I can't see where that sort of confidence is coming from, Dan. Can I have a little bit of that? If that's going, I'll take it, because at the minute, after watching that performance, he's saying we're going to roll the league. I thought we were poor. In all honesty, I think I were really disappointed. With some of our play today. I'm just setting up our next caller. I was waiting very patiently. So, yeah, it's frustrating today. Yes, Joe says, football is a game of two halves for a reason. The 2-1 was a dagger in us. We were left chasing the game on individual moments. For me, I still have faith in the manager and his ability. 45 to play, Jim. 45 to play. Of course, 45 games to go. Yeah, there is. It's a long season, mate, but you can also be disappointed, like Damien here. What an absolute shambles. Surely this highlights to the owners. We need to be bringing in defenders ASAP. Deb says, hi, Jimmy. Do you happen to know why Hamer gave Robbo the armband when he came on, but Hamer stayed on? Yeah, because Robbo is the club captain. So whenever the club captain joins the field, he usually takes the armband, which is, how it should be, really, to be honest. Helen says, rumour that Wrexham are pushing to sign Jack Robinson. Oh, please. And take Reece Norrington Davis as an incentive to complete the deal. Yeah, look, Helen, I'm with you. They are literally placeholders for me. They're placeholders at the moment, those two. But we need them here while there's nobody else in. And that's the frightening point that we're at, isn't it? Hi, Jim. Extremely disappointed tonight. He's phoning Platinum only, hoping to come on and have my say. It is at the moment, Jack. And to be honest, while we're operating this new system, it's quite logistically difficult to operate. So it's a bit of a dry run for me. If we'd have been in a more jovial mood, I would have been making more jokes about me messing about in the background and trying to get everything sorted out. But it's not the easiest thing to operate. So it's a bit of a trial, and I'm sure I'll get a little bit more fluid with it. Hopefully nobody's been too put off by the way it's been running so far, but we'll see. We've also got a show with Cal coming on Monday on Ramble FC that I'm going to have to do similar, so we'll wait and see how it goes. Our next caller, on that note, is the one and only, you all know his face, it's Jamie Dumpling. How's it going, pal? Oh, your mic ain't working. Come on, Jamie.
There we go.
Oh, that was your end, was it?
Yeah, well, my end, because I had myself
Lord. No, I'm relieved at that, mate. I'm pleased. So, how are you feeling, pal? How are you doing?
Yeah, I've been better. I've been better. I think that's the best way to put it. I think the best part was probably pre-match, watching Matilda Shakes, to be honest.
Yes, agreed. Well said. There's a caller coming on that will appreciate you saying that. So, Yeah, that was probably the best part of the day so far, mate. So, yeah, what are your thoughts after seeing that performance? What stands out to you as needing to be done?
Well, as probably a lot of people were shouting in the cop, we need a centre half. Minimum one. We need someone with experience who's been in the game. Probably not Ben Godfrey just because of his wages, but someone who knows about the game, a Harry Suter type, a leader, someone who can help teach someone like Binden the ropes and get him up to speed with the championship.
Can I ask you, remember where you are in your points that you're making, because I don't want to sort of cut you off too early, but while you're talking about probably not Godfrey because of his wages, why are people so hung up on his wages? I understand that he is an expensive player to bring in, but if he improves the 11...
We're currently paying for our highest earner, I'm pretty sure.
Is what, sorry?
So what's our highest earner on? 30, 35 grand? We'd be paying
something
about
like that.
60.
Yeah.
We can get better quality for cheaper at that.
Like who, though, mate?
I don't know, but that's
I know this is the argument, though, isn't it? You're right. I'm not being intentionally difficult, and apologies if it comes across as though I am. What I
get what you mean.
People are dismissing it because of the amount of money it will cost on a loan, and I understand that, and we should be using our money wisely. But we have we've recouped so much in wages, just wages alone. You're not talking about the fees that we've received for Sousa, Anel, Kiefer Moore. We have recouped so much money, and I think Brewster's gone out, so there's all sorts of money coming into the club, and there is some money that we have to offset the losses from the second season of parachute payments. I understand all that, but if he's going to improve our first 11, and even if then you use all your loan spots and he still starts, which I think he probably would, why are we all against it? And it's not just you, Jay. There's a lot of people against it. A lot of people in Platinum chat are saying, no, it's too expensive for what he is. And I know he hasn't played much over the last 2 seasons, and that's a different conversation. If we don't think he's ready, then that's a fair argument. But if it's purely based on the money that he's going to cost, and we think he's a better player than what we've got, which I would say, well, nobody's going to argue that he's a better centre half than Reece Norrington Davis or Jack Robinson, surely. Then get him in. Yeah. For me, that's my opinion on it. I just want a quality player in at centre half.
I think the reason is just because of that risk where it would likely be an obligation to buy. So then we're stuck with that wages potentially. Even at Premiership, that'd be a good amount for what we're going to be at level wise. And then we're stuck with him when we come down, paying the full whack for probably multiple years. And then we're also rumoured with players like Charlie Hughes, and the wages that were going to Ben Godfrey probably be the equivalent of getting someone like Charlie Hughes, including the transfer fee, where they're a lot less on the wages, but you're covering that with the transfer fee. So it's all a balancing act, really.
I love the Charlie Hughes link, and I would go for Charlie Hughes over Ben Godfrey personally, but I just don't understand why people will be so quick to dismiss Ben Godfrey, and a lot have. It was just a thing that I couldn't really get my head around if he's going to improve us. But if Charlie Hughes is the alternative, like I said, I'm open to a conversation about an alternative, and if Charlie Hughes on a permanent is coming in instead, brilliant. Yeah. Let's do that. But at the minute that is an absolutely gaping hole, and that is where we have been sucker punched today, not been good enough by a stretch. And some of our better players at the back, Michael Cooper being the primary one, hasn't covered himself in glory today either. So it's been
he's just trying to stop buyers being interested in him. That's
yeah. Well, it's smart. It's smart work from him. But
I love you, Michael.
Yeah, me too. But I think it were a combination of a lot of things, including a lot of bad luck. I think Bristol City played well. I don't want to take that away from them, but I think we were unlucky in certain phases. So just sometimes you have days like this, and I suppose, again, I've talked about this before. I like doing these call-ins and speaking to people about the different opinions, whether it's in comments or speaking to you guys, because it sort of helps talk me round. Do you know what I mean? Even if I'm having an argument for them, against you, or whatever it might be, it sort of gets my head around other perspectives. But yeah, we do need a centre half, Jay. There's no arguments from anybody on that. I think that's a very rare, but I think that's all Unitedites are united on that one, if you like, that we need a centre back. Yeah. Anywhere else you think we need to strengthen? Go on. You were going to say something.
The way the owners have come off is the fact they're trying to spend quality over quantity, which is fair enough, but you also do need a bit of speed. But the fact we're not actually buying what a play is yet so far, apart from AI signers, which are cheap, and someone said that COH actually stands for can't outspend Huddersfield. So I think at the minute, that's probably the most accurate way of putting how us the owners have been so far. But it just, I think this is a wake-up call. It could be a blessing in disguise. Wilder, I think someone put in Platinum chat, he lost 3-0 on his first game, and then we got 100 points. It may not end up like that, but it could be a blessing in disguise where sellers can go, you've seen how bad it is with what we've got. You will not get promotion with what we've got. Buy players, please.
I agree with that. Anywhere else you think that we need to strengthen, pal, other than centre half?
We need a right winger, but I am interested to see how Lukaku does at this level, because I thought he was really good. Not only again in just pre-season general, but he looked good against the likes of Nice. By the way, the French league is on fraud watch. After if we're able to go toe to toe with Nice, who are Champions League side in that division, that is bad. So, but yeah, Lukaku looks good. So I just want to see what's like. I imagine a lot of these though will be against one, which could be a good thing that we're playing a high level opposition in the League Cup, because then we can actually see what other players are like against that kind of team. Lukaku, Samara, Caceres. It's like another pre-season type game.
Yeah, I know. It's disappointing, isn't it, pal? Disappointing. Anything else you want to cover before I let you go?
No, let's just hope that we kick on and be a bit better. Because
are you Ramble on the Road correspondent for Birmingham?
Yes. Right. I was trying to remember which, because you're either Swansea or Borough, but I'm Birmingham. But okay. I think it's Birmingham I'm doing.
Thank you, mate. Appreciate it. Jamie Dumpling, always a pleasure, mate. Never a chore. I will catch up with you soon.
In a bit. By the way, buy Matilda Shade CDs. Big up.
Nice. So, yeah, I'll explain that actually. Cheers, Jay. See you in a bit.
Yeah, see you in a bit.
So, what Jamie Dumpling is referring to there, there'll be somebody I know that's laughing at that quite heavily, because we were walking away from the ground, walking towards the ground, sorry. We're walking to the fan zone because we're on our way to see Matilda Shakes today, which, why wouldn't you want to go and see Matilda Shakes when they're on at fan zone? Absolutely incredible band. But we're on his way to see them. And my dad's like, they are really good. I have to say, I've listened to a lot of their stuff. Can you still buy their CDs? 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 You may well be able to. But who plays CDs nowadays? Look, I'm getting a man that's nodding at me now anyway, so I'm going to have to... he'll be the man that can tell us anyway. It is the lead singer of Matilda Shakes himself. Oh, did I press the right button there? Yes, I did. It is James Hallam. How's it going, pal? Oh no, your mic's not working at all. Are you muted? I've muted you.
You muted me.
How you doing, mate? All right.
I'm all right. How are you?
Yes, I'm good, thank you. I'm really good, really good. First of all, congratulations on a fantastic performance today. I thought you were brilliant in fan zone.
Thank you. Really
absolutely. Yeah, the best way to start the season. Everything went right up until kickoff. It were brilliant, mate. You were amazing, as was Johnny Blade, who played in between your sets as well. So, yeah, really well represented from Blades in the fan zone. And then, what happened, mate? What happened?
I don't know, honestly. I think we looked really nervous first 10 minutes.
Yeah, we did.
They scored. As soon as I got a free kick, I said to the lads, I said, it's 1-0 this. You could see.
I said it to my dad. Scott Twine stepping up on edge at box. He can pick which side he goes. 1-0. 1-0.
I knew it was coming. And then from there, obviously, I think we grew into the game a bit, equalised. And I thought we were on top then up until second half.
Yeah.
And then everything.
Well, they're a sucker punch, weren't they, with their second?
Yeah.
And I didn't think they deserved it at that point of the game. But they took the chances. They were clinical with it. Yeah. And then second half opens up and 1-2 punch and we were done. We were absolutely done.
That's it. I think there are a few players that I think were a bit poor today.
Go on then, reel them off, mate. I know they're your pals, but you've got to...
think Cooper had a bit of a shocker, if I'm honest.
I've said the same.
I'm not one to throw him under the bus, but I don't know. Just
I don't like saying it. I don't like saying it out loud, but I don't think it was probably his worst game in a United shirt, I would say.
I would say so. I was saying to the lad stage, probably worst I've ever seen as live.
Yeah, and that's by his standards as well. So it's a Cooper criticism isn't like an absolute shambles of a performance, but for his standards that we expect to see him, I thought it was very uncharacteristic of him today. Centre half is the gaping hole, isn't it, mate? Reece Norrington-Davies today.
Yeah, we were talking about it in car, weren't we? For me, he's been more of a left winger, not left back. Sorry. Yeah. And then he played left at 3, didn't he? But to be in a 2, I think he's too small for a start.
Yeah, he is.
I think he's big enough.
Not big enough, not strong enough. No presence about him, really. I think he had a good engine on him. Before he got injured, he could get up and down that wing really well in terms of bombing on forward for an attacking left back. Could do his job really well, closing his man down, getting close to his man, but always had a little ruck in him. You can get away with that as a fullback a little bit, I think, but as a centre,
that injury's killed his career, hasn't it?
Yeah.
For me, I think it could be one of the last games we see him play, if I'm honest.
So there's a lot of rumours today, mate, that Jack Robinson is linked to Wrexham, which
I've seen that.
Which we've seen before as well, haven't we? To Wrexham, it's not the first time this summer it's come out. We are ridiculously light. We've got to get a replacement in, haven't we, before we let him go? If that's going to be the situation,
I think as we stand now, I think we need 2 centre backs.
Yeah,
I think if you sell Robinson, you're looking at 3.
It's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely. Yeah. So Bindon is our only one that we can hang our hat on. How did you think Bindon played today?
I thought he were all right. I think there's room for growth.
Yeah, I agree. I've seen him getting a bit of sticking comments. I thought he did okay today. I thought it was left on his own on a bit of an island at times, and really tough to try and.
As horrible as it sounds to Reece, I think having him at side here, I won't want to be playing with Reece Norrington-Davies at side of me today.
Matilda Shakes going in on Reece Norrington-Davies. You meant it first.
He's not a centre back.
No, he ain't. He ain't, mate.
He's playing out of position. So,
what did you think to our little magician Gustavo today?
He was very quiet, weren't he? He went himself.
I thought when the 4th went in, he down tools a little bit, and I don't mean he stopped trying because obviously he keeps running. But I just don't think his head were in the game at all. And we all know as a fan base, we're moaning and groaning because game's gone at 4-1 already and there's still 40 minutes to go. But to see some players, like the body language actually reflect that, I thought were quite disappointing, to be honest.
Yeah, I agree. It weren't good. I don't think him and Peck played particularly well together.
No.
I do think you need that destroyer in there.
No, I agree. I was surprised we didn't see Samari today.
I am a little bit. I've seen him warm up and just never come on, did he?
It would just. I understand why he lined up as he did. We knew the risks with that lineup as we've talked about, but once you see the way the game's going, you bring Samari on to protect him. Surely that's the role. That's
it. I'm a bit surprised I didn't see Jackie Long for a bit sooner.
I know. I didn't like the fans cheering for Reece getting.
Yeah, it's a bit harsh, isn't it?
He's really harsh, mate. Really harsh. So yes, Any other thoughts on the game today, pal?
I think Barry were a big positive for us. He looked really lively going down that left-hand side, especially in first half. Second half, he died off a bit, didn't he? I think there's probably some fitness level issues probably there. You know, we were out with ACL, weren't he, last season? So
yeah. Well, I'd heard that there were a chance that O'Neill were going to start in front of him today. So it were a pleasant surprise to see him starting.
Yeah.
And like you say, I think he looked lively in first half. I think he faded second half, and it weren't a surprise to see him come off.
That's it.
But it's a really disappointing start to the season, isn't it? I don't know where to go with it. I don't know where to put me sen in terms of my mood, because we always try and be positive and think of like, look, there's people are already saying it's 45 games to go. It's not all doom and gloom, and I understand that. But can we take any positives from that game today?
Not really. Campbell Campbell's completed 90 minutes.
I think that 30-minute window in first half.
Yeah,
I think we showed some promise, and I think attacking wise we were very good. We just didn't get the goals that I think a lot of our play deserved. Second half, it was just.
I missed the 2 goals. Having a
I remember you saying.
So you one down.
were you in concourse or something?
Yeah, we're in there.
Yeah, special concourse with VIPs.
We're roughing it.
What yeah, with riffraff, wheels lot. Mate, right, before I let you go, tell me where people can get tickets to see your gig and when it is and where it is and what have you.
If you pop into Google, Matilda Shakes, Sydney Matilda, it'll pop up on Leadmill's website. So it's on the 10th of October. I'll get that right this time because I'm pitch.
Yes, mate. On pitch at half time, you might have said something different. But yeah, that is class. So
obviously, mean a lot to see as many Ramblers down there as possible.
Absolutely, mate. I'll be there. I've got my ticket sorted out. So I will be, I can't wait. I'm really looking forward to it. Anybody that doesn't know, this man who you may have seen in the fan zone today, may have seen on the pitch at half time, telling you the wrong date for his own gig. But he provides all the music to the Ramble, all the brilliant intros, outros you see on Blades Ramble, Ramble FC. It's all Matilda Shakes because they're absolutely top class, and we want to support them and they want to support us. And it's been a really sort of fruitful relationship, and long may it continue, pal. And hopefully it's just next time we're chatting on 90 after 90, it's about a more positive result there.
Positive. Well, all the ways up in it. The always up there.
It's got to be now. We're bottom at league. So anyway, them lot play tomorrow, so we'll be all right. We'll be all right. We'll be good soon.
No worries.
All right, buddy. Nice for you coming on. See you soon, pal. Ta-ra, mate. Top man, James from Matilda Shakes. Very much appreciated him joining us. Give me a call. Can't way back, and we'd already sort of done a bit of that in terms of dissecting game. But yeah, we've had a shocker today, haven't we? We've had an absolute shocker. Scott says Chris would have never let that happen. I've heard a lot of this. How does? I'm split on it really, because you know I'm a Wilder fan, but you also know I always try and sort of level it out where I can. So how do we know? I think a lot of it depends on the team that you set up with. So Ruben Sayers is 100% responsible for that. There is no getting around it. There is no. I'm going to try and twist it another way. So he's set up a team that looks very vulnerable in midfield, and the defence has huge holes in it, which I personally think the board have a lot to answer for in terms of not getting people in a timely manner. So having said that, he's set the team up. The other thing I want to mention, though, is once the team is on the field, what can the manager do? What can the manager do after that? So it's a really tricky one just to blame Sayers and say Wilder wouldn't have let it happen. I'd like to think the same, but in some ways I wouldn't. You know, it's a difficult one, and it's hypothetical anyway, because we're never going to know, are we? Keen Jelly says, a kick up the backside, maybe a blessing in disguise. Yeah, I agree with that. Craig says, the game itself was so disappointing, just the glimpses from us, but no enforcer in midfield. The back line was not up to it. Brooks too lightweight, need 2 centre-backs, a right winger, and 2 midfielders, in my opinion. Looking to get away with just 4-1 up the Ramble. Thank you, pal. Hope you're good. Jack says he struggles to work out what our game plan was today. Absolutely no pattern to play. Bristol City had a clear plan. I'm not sure they did have a clear plan. I think they defended really well. They were really solid and compact, and they wanted to get the ball up the field quickly and press on our vulnerable defence. And if that is the plan, then I suppose that's what they did. But I thought there wasn't really patterns to their play. I thought we were trying to be a little bit more intricate. I thought we were trying to get the ball forward quickly. I could see what we were trying to do. It just didn't come off, did it? Gabe says, respectfully disagree with Gaz. I think you could tell what Ruben was trying to get us to do in the first half, but it all just capitulated in the second half. Julie says, absolutely bad today. Wilder knew he was going before Wembley, and the reason why it was unfair. Proves why humans know better than AI. That's for Fifi. They rang rings round us. Yeah. Yes, Joe says, I hope we don't get sucked into the merry-go-round of the transfer market. We all knew the centre-back partnership was going to be a huge part to play. We have to figure out the right-back, left-back partnership of staying wide and high. Absolutely right. Andrew says, absolute joke that, Jimmy. 6-0 we beat these 3 months ago. Not good enough at all. A couple more of them and folk will turn. Hope we improve. Andrew, I think some folk are turning already. What we have to remember is the internet, which we are operating on, are the vocal minority. We like to have our say, we like to have our opinions heard, and this is the platform for that. This is what I'll always try and provide people. But we are not the wider fan. People will be disappointed today, but the vast majority of us, me included, will still turn up next home game and we'll be there supporting the team. And we should. So I don't think a lot have turned yet, but they're starting to out there. We're hearing it, Andrew, in the fan base. Dave says, sorry, can't join tonight. Got friends here. Good first half, but 2 stupid mistakes in the second half. Did it for us. Chris says, dominated. We've just been battered, pal. Yeah, I think so. Campbell, 90 minutes. You like to see it. Jesus Jimbo, are the Blades going to do a Luton? No, pal. No, we're not. Don't worry about that. Jack agrees with Gaz about Campbell. I think he's a 20-goal this season finisher. Hearing rumours to Everton, though. I don't think that'll happen. I'll be surprised. Max says, having a community like this is great, especially after a game like this. Credit to you, Jimmy, up the Ramble. Thank you, mate. Sometimes, I'll be honest, you don't want to come on and talk about the game. I was sloughened, particularly coming on tonight. You may have been able to tell. People that have been here long enough will have been able to tell that I didn't start myself. It just knocks wind out your sails a little bit, doesn't it? I've got my dad and Aunt Sal saying to me just before I walked through studio door, saying, "Come on, it's not going to be that bad. You'll be all right. You know, we'll bounce back. We'll be all right." But it affects people, doesn't it? And that might be embarrassing to some that don't follow the game or don't love the team and things like that. But it affects us. So anyway, I'm going to get my next caller on now, and I am delighted that he has chosen to join us because I believe this is his first time calling. So welcome, one and all. How's it going, pal?
How do, mate? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. It's Riff, isn't it?
Yeah.
The one and only. I've never actually seen you in the flesh. I can't. There's no nameplates. But I knew we'd get you on one day. I knew we would. So thank you for joining us, pal. How are you?
All good, mate. Face for radio, definitely.
Well, join the club, mate. Join the club. So don't worry, they're not offended. Most of them stick around anyway. So for those that aren't aware, Riff, obviously one of our Platinum Ramblers, but he's a huge contributor in terms of gathering information on targets and stats and things like that. So he's a bit of a cheat sheet for me sometimes, I'll be honest. Him and Lee Edridge and a few of the other Platinum Ramblers obviously joining, Statman Jack as well. They like to, when we're closely linked with a player, Riff, you often search the corners of the earth to get reputable sort of information on these players, and it helps me, who just sometimes does a quick scan read of what you've put on, to understand a little bit about what we're getting. So from a man who's done a lot of digging on what we are looking into and what we've needed, I know you like to look at the game quite analytically. Talk to me about your thoughts on today, pal.
I don't know where to start, to be honest. First of all, I thought first time on, I might do a Borat impression or something, because since you've never heard me. But I don't think today is the day for it. No,
unfortunately, it's not. Well, yeah, you could have had me there, to be fair, because I wouldn't have known what you sounded like, would I? But yeah, you could have done that. Thank you for not doing it today, though, of all days, when we've been battered 4-1 first game of the season.
Yeah, no, just, with me, I always try to play the devil's advocate with all the decisions the boards have been making and everything else, and I try to see it from all perspectives and everything else.
Yeah.
I don't think I can defend the board. I know even when we sold Anel, I was saying sometimes if you have to sell, if he's not willing to pay beforehand and everything else, wait till the end of the window and everything else. And that's something that I have been pushing quite a lot on all the different forums and everything.
Yeah.
But today I don't think it's Ellis's fault, obviously, because you ended up having Reece Norrington Davis having one of the worst games ever.
Shocking, weren't he? Shocking.
Yeah. For me, Siniki just he was too naive throughout the game. Because one thing that I think that we did really well was with Burrows and Barry on the left. And as both was sort of, one was undercutting the other and then going, we had a lot of joy down the left.
Yeah, we did.
What we couldn't have done is with Siriki just going forward at the same time all the time. It ended up just being 2 against 2 or 2 against 3 sometimes.
Yep.
And I just don't think that worked. Is it something that Sellis could have done better to sort of keep him back? Possibly, yeah. But as a whole, I just think, it was just a bad day in the office, and half of it is down to the fact that the board has put us in this place. And, with me, I've always tried to be very supportive of the board, and I've always talked positively of the board. And I think that there will be investment. A lot of the other fans don't believe that it's going to be the case, but I do always think that there will be.
You've got to hope that there will be, haven't you? I mean, we don't know ultimately, and you, like myself a little bit, you try and look at the bigger picture in terms of surely their purpose must see that we require investment to progress, and that is the only silver lining I take from today, Riff, to be honest, is that if nothing else, they know that things need to change with this squad, because that in terms of putting our best available players out today, which we pretty much did, it's nowhere near. And, having players like Sidney Peck play a different type of role today and try and screen the defence did not work at all. He's not that type of player. And Reece Norrington-Davies is not a centre-back. Siriki gets forward okay to well and sometimes looks excellent in flashes, but defensively there's still a lot of development there that's needed. Andre Brooks is so intermittent in terms of whether sometimes he has a decent touch, sometimes he has a decent little flick. Half of the time he wastes possession, and it's so disappointing because we all want him to do well, but we need somebody stronger. I think personally that right hand side looks weak. The centre backs are nowhere near it. Tyler Binden, I thought, did okay today, did okay to good. I thought he looked isolated at a lot of different times. But we've got a lot of work to do, haven't we, Riff? And hopefully, all we can do is hope that the board see it now, if they've not seen it before.
Yeah, no, it's just often with Binden, I just thought he was just one-man defence.
Yeah.
And he couldn't have done it, he really couldn't have done anything with, a couple of the goals that was fully down to R&D.
I thought so too.
I just don't know. It's just, I know a lot of people get frustrated because we end up always leaving our transfer to the end of the window. That's just, as a team, is what we do. And it is frustrating. And it's just, but the board is not helping Sellers at all. You make this massive decision to fire Wilder. Now, I have defended the board in saying why I think they've fired Wilder. And not that I always agree with the board, but I have put in quite a lot of reasoning in the groups to say why I think that was made. But then you just basically just dig such a massive hole for Sellers. And with the crowd, always already on his back to start off with. I mean, it's not his fault that he's got appointed and Wilder's got sacked.
I agree. It's a bit of a poison chalice in a way, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, even then, I thought that we had enough today, even with the weaknesses and in the gaps. I honestly thought we had enough today to still come up with come out with the 3 points. But
that for me, Riff, that's the point, because that's why we're coming away so disappointed. It's not the fact that we lost in the manner that we, obviously that's the overriding fact, but I thought that team had enough. And the fact that it looked so far off it is quite alarming. So we knew that team wasn't going to be good enough to go through the season, and we all knew we certainly needed a centre half and a couple of other bits and bats, but it now looks like we are further away from where we want to be than we even thought. So it's quite alarming to see how poor, or not poor, but how we sort of went into ourselves. Once we knew the game was pretty much gone, we didn't really step it up a gear or 2 or 3. He talked about this vertical attacking football. We didn't really see that in the second half. There were a lot of huffing and puffing, and we were 4-1 down, but you've got to keep going to the end. And I think some players, you could see, we've talked about it with James and a couple of other callers, look, heads down, and the body language was really poor. So that was quite a concern, and something does need to change, and that's why I think we're all a little bit more disappointed than, you know, we knew we were short. We didn't know how short we were. I think is probably the overarching thing that I'm taking away from the game anyway.
What are you thinking about Gus in that role?
I'm disappointed in Gus. I'm disappointed. I don't think he's... certainly today, I don't think his performance levels were anywhere near, but you could say that about several players. I do think he's been a little bit... he's just too inconsistent for me. I can't go back too much to last season where I think he sort of coasted through a few games. I hold him in a higher regard and I criticise him more heavily because we know what he can do. We know that he can be the difference at this level. He got the Player of the Year last season, and anybody that watched us regularly knows that he could have played better because he's got that sort of ability. I don't think he was a 9 out of 10 every game, which you'd be expecting 8s and 9s from a Player of the Season. I think some games he was a 5 or a 6. And, you know, I think we saw that again today. That's why he frustrates me, because I know how good he can be, and a lot of us do. And the fact that it looked like he'd switched off today was really disappointing for me. And that's why I'm a little bit down on him today. He can drag us up out of these sort of low and dark patches, and if he's going to be wearing the armband when Jack Robinson's not in the team, he needs to show why. And I don't think he's done that so far, unfortunately. I love him. I want him to stay. I think we can build our team around him, but we need more from him as an individual as well. So that's a little bit, you know, going in on Gus a little bit.
I think he was disciplined enough, to be honest. I just think a lot of the passes that he was making were just too lazy, too laid back.
But he's done that too often, hasn't he? Too often.
Quick, yeah. No, but if you're looking, I mean, one of the reasons I know I was having a lot of disagreements with a lot of people, because I thought Peck actually did quite well today, because a lot of his first-time balls were out wide, and he was getting barrier involved quite a lot, just with his first-time balls across. And I think we were quite dangerous when we were doing that. But then again, I don't think Hamer was doing that quick enough for me.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think Peck was asked to do a difficult job today, and I thought he did a reasonable job in an unfamiliar position, but I think he was a little bit on a hiding to nothing, really. He's not Vinny Souza, and he shouldn't, you know, we should be playing to his strengths as well. What you don't want to do is zap the confidence of a young kid who had such a good season last year and be asking him to do a job he's not overly familiar with. He can do it. He can do it. We've seen it in patches even today, that he can win the ball and give it easy or see a pass. But again, I thought he got caught out at times as well, and I feel sorry for him rather than I feel disappointed in him, if that makes sense. So, yeah,
I think that had a lot to do with also because with Norrington Davis and Bindon have been so slow.
Yes,
being so slow, they had to drop back so much. There was a lot of ground to cover for Peck.
Yeah,
if he was doing the 6, but we had a high line of defense, he would have been not under so much pressure.
I agree. That's fair. Yeah. That's fair. And he had to drop really deep, didn't he, at times to collect the ball from him and things. There was a big gap between, because it's not his natural position. And like you say, they're dropping deeper as a defence. Maybe he has to be a little bit more aware, but it would be if he was more of a 6. So, Riff, thank you so much, pal, for coming on. I'm delighted that you've bitten the bullet, and hopefully it's not your last time. And we'll catch up pretty soon.
All right, mate. Thanks.
Top man. See you soon. Cheers, Riff. What a guy. Nice one. Love that. A really big contributor, both in the chat and in our group as well. Become a really big part of our community. So thank you to Riff for jumping on. Carmen Rain Sound says R&D was poor. I completely agree. CPTD1 says, I get the waiting for the right player and end of the window. The flip side to that is now. The teams know we have money and are in desperate need for a centre-back. Yeah, that is the concern as well. DT says, sorry boys, this was awful. Absolutely dreadful. Looked like we'd been getting drunk for 6 weeks. I can't see it getting any better soon. I'm not one to jump on, but I'm not sure Sayers is the one. That's early, isn't it? That's early. LEFC 192020 says, Jim, it's the first game. It will get better. Jack says, all I was thinking was we need a ball-winning presence in central midfield like Souza and a mobile, capable centre-back like Anel. Oh, I think Ben Godfrey fits that mould, to be honest. We had everything we needed. Yeah, players looking like they don't want to play. for the new management, says Julie. Was that part of it, do we think? Was that part of it? Henry says, first game last season we drew 2-2 with Pompey. It's one game. It is one game, pal. It's not really the result that's the big issue for me. And 4-1 is a big kicker of a result. It's the manner of the result and what it means for how we lost the game. It's not just the players not being good enough. It's the players' heads going down, the players not being alert and sharp when in the defensive transition. Gutted. Jeremy says, season not starting off in the manner you need, Jimbo. Maybe change the manager already. He's clearly out of his depth marching on together. That's not going to happen, is it? It's not going to happen anytime soon. Thanks for your feedback. Rich says, this is why Wilder was asked to leave. He knew the squad needed replacements and the board knew they had to sell. This is why Wilder was asked to leave. He knew the squad needed replacements and the board knew they had to sell. I don't think so. Lewis O'Brien would have been a good signing, says Michael. Yes, he would. Charge says, have you seen Robbo to Wrexham? I've seen it a few places. Let me know the source and I'll give you an opinion if we think it's got legs. Bindon looks terrible, says Dave. I've seen some sliding scale opinions on several players that played today. Bindon's one of them. I think he played well, and Dave thinks he looked terrible. I think he looked terrible or looked iffy at times because he was left alone, and that's what was when it made him look vulnerable. But I think for the majority of the game he did well. I've seen also people saying, like Riff was saying there, he thought Sidney Peck had a good game. I've seen others say they thought he had a horrific game. I didn't think he played that well today, but I thought he was being asked to do a job that he's not comfortable in. So I thought it was really tricky to ask a lot of Sidney Peck in a position he's unfamiliar with. We are just back to, unfortunately, square pegs in round holes, aren't we, for the time being? And we've got to hope that this is temporary, and when we get those round pegs for the round holes, that we strengthen with the right type of player and it starts to click. Just a bad day at the office, says Finn. One off, like when Cov beat you 4-1, you still went up. I thought you might remember that, pal. But thank you, yeah. It is a one-off. And as I say, as an isolated result, you can't get too hung up on it. It's the manner that's, I think, shocked a few people, really. We knew we weren't ready, but did we know we were this far off it? I'm not convinced. Mackie says, the loss of Sousa was so obvious today. And two centre-backs are desperately needed. We're not ready. We actually didn't play how Sayers wanted us to. I still back the gaffer 100%, but we need players. Kieran says, Blades were rubbish, and that's being polite. Play like that for the rest of the season, we're in for a relegation fight, let alone top half. Sam says, I agree, Bindon looked slow and weak. Never going to be a championship winning centre-back. Hate to say that, hope to be proved wrong, but remember this comment, he won't do well for us. I'll be honest, I won't remember the comment, and that's nothing personal against you, Samuel, but I can't remember my name most of the time. So, but yes, feel free to remind me of it if you're right, which I hope you're not, and I know you hope you're not. But Justin says, well, the first 20 minutes was fun. Paul, I can't. I've gone past your first comment, pal, Paul Young. So if you put another one in, I'll try and get it. Michael says, hi Jimmy, how many times did Peck and Heyman make the wrong decisions in passing? Sorry to say, I still don't get where O'Hare fits in, up the Blades, up the Ram. I thought O'Hare was really good in spells in the 10 today. I thought he was one of our better players, him and Tyrese Campbell. It were O'Hare's decision making that I think let him down today. So yeah, I think he fits in. Tony says, shocked, thought you were very poor. Wish Burnley were in the Championship. And that's from a Burnley fan. I think he means for the way the football is played and the exciting football that's there. Rob says, ouch, tough one that today for you lads. Watched a bit of it. I wish I could have only watched a bit of it. They were totally committed to defence. We don't think it's important. I get the point there, Michael, and I don't completely disagree in terms of they were throwing their bodies on the line. We were opening the door for them, weren't we? Opening day is always a shambles. Chill out, you'll be fine, says Tony. Stella fella. Bryce says, evening Jimmy. Decent 35 minutes. The defence was awful. Keen Jelly says, get Tanganga in. 2 million max. It's not going to be 2 million max. No chance. Tazzy says getting a couple of centre-backs and a right-back will be a force. James says, what signings? No money, loans and frees only. The book stops in the boardroom. Let's see where we are in October. Yeah, let's, pal. Let's. James, that's fair, mate. That's fair. I think we judge the window in September, but I have been pushing back on people who were saying, we need them now, we need them now, we need them now. And I've been saying, wait for better players and see how it plays out a little bit. I'm still of that mindset. I think we still look back on it on 1st of September and say, was it a good window? But we've seen today what that waiting for the better players can do. And we are so vulnerable in the interim that we've been done, haven't we? We've been done by a decent performance from Bristol City, to be fair to him. Again, I don't want to take anything away from him. Jimmy, his suitor not available. He's out. He's still got his cruciate injury. He's not going to be back on the grass till November time, Paul. And even then, if he becomes fit for Leicester, why wouldn't they play him at this level? Because it was so good for us. Rich says over 700 in the building. Smash the like. I'm a Leeds fan, but think the channel is great. Keep up the good work, Jimmy. Thank you, Rich. I really appreciate that, pal. Yeah, I do. Rich says Bindon was on a hiding to nothing today. He'll only get better. Maybe being partnered with another actual centre-back would help. Fair point, pal. Fair point. Oh, Gary. Rambling back to League One, I think. All right, okay. Is that your pondering face? We'll see. We'll see, mate. We'll see. Chat VR says, tough watch today. On the positive side, Sayers managed to get 90 minutes out of Tyrese and Hamer. Could have done with that a few months ago. Yes, we could. Imagine if that had been the case at Wembley, it might have been a completely different scenario. Joe says, hopefully that made the match. Had a great time with seeing people. Football is about family and friends at the end of the day. Football is more than just the 90s. For some people. Yes, absolutely right. I'm going to try and see what you're talking about, though. Sorry, mate. I must have missed that earlier comment if that's not linked to anything. Matt says, nice to finally meet you, Jim, in the fan zone. It was, mate. Thank you for coming up and saying hello. Sorry it was not very chatty. Going forward today, it was good defensive. Awful, Reece Norrington-Davies. So poor. He's gone. Hamer and Peck cannot start together. Too attacking. Yeah, I agree. And I wanted that as a pairing because I think it would have been too harsh to drop City and Gus is too good to drop. Knowing that would be the risk, and it's not paid off. So I would have done exactly what Sayers did with that centre midfield pairing, and it didn't work, did it? At all. Did not work. Simon says, don't forget to smash the like and subscribe button. Thank you, mate. I appreciate that. For God's sake, let's show a bit of ambition, says Chris. I am fed up of all this unmindful and ahhing, or umming and ahhing, I think that was supposed to be. You have 22 million you can spend, but also turn into wages, says Vince. I bet Wilder's laughing his what's-its off, says Lee. I bet he is, to be honest. Action Location says, Way Sellers was telling players off at the end will cause unrest in the dressing room. He should look at himself. I don't think you were telling him off, to be honest. I might have misinterpreted it, Action Location, but we stayed to see how that was being done. And I think it was more an attempt at motivational and bringing people back together and sort of saying, look, he said in an interview afterwards, didn't he, that we win together and we lose together and all that sort of thing. So I don't think it was a rollicking per se. Okay, we have to risk it to go to the Premier League and get more parachute payments. Jeremy says, too many losses like today, Jim, and Hamer's going off to walk to Ellen Road to sign for us, marching on together. I don't think he'll sign for you, pal. Sam says, TalkSport reckon Bristol City could have got 6. But let's be real, so could we. There was a luck factor, but we gave it to them and take nothing away from Bristol City's performance. Well said, Sam. Well said. I think I agree with that. Kelly says we played well. It's only the first game of the season. Sheila Green says, how much would Mepham cost? Would prefer him over Godfrey. Yeah, it'd be cheaper. It'd be a lot cheaper. And he proved himself in the league last year, I thought, as well. So it wouldn't be a bad signing. Again, people will always have opinions on different players. And people's gripe about Chris Mepham is that he's not Premier League ready. My counter to that is, we don't need him to be. We just need him to be top-end Championship ready. We need him to help us get out of this league like he did for Sunderland. Anyway, Stooby Bop. I think that's who Maury were talking about the other day. So poor today. Need to spend in defence now. Sayers won't last the season, Jimmy. Post Office says, be brave, pay the money, and set the standard of promotion at all costs. Why are we shying away? Good point. Good point. Carl says, it seems the board is trying to play Jenga with the first team. Well, this is what happens when you remove too many important bricks. Well said. Nicely put, Carl. Nicely put, mate. Mark says, well, let's hope we're off the bottom after Leicester tomorrow. Yeah, let's hope so. Matilda shakes CD, says, yeah, absolutely. Big up the ATB. Hello, Father. He's not watching tonight. He says he can't watch me straight after when we've lost. So he'll catch up with it later. Matt says the gaping holes were there in pre-season. But Eki Outsal's watching, my biggest supporter. Hey up, Ansal. The gaping holes there in pre-season with an L. It's not the individuals, it's how Sayers plays in transition. We are wide open at the back. Both teams to score is nailed on all season. And we just didn't do our bit, did we? We did not do our bit in terms of putting the ball in the back of the net. Jake says, not pleased with today, obviously. Reece Norrington-Davis needs to be shipped off to the National League. Thought we attacked well. I agree. Bristol City goalkeeper played well. Just need to clean up the finishing. Defenders needed ASAP. Very sensible. Rhodesy says, I agree, Matt. We press high, yet Bindon is so slow and should not be near the first team. Oh, RR. Are you going for an R&D? Should not be near the first team. Let me know, Rhodesy. 70% possession in the first half, and Bristol City scored against the run of play twice. They all count, though, don't they, Bri? Zonny says that was pathetic, our defence. Like I've said since NL went, it's shocking and pathetic. TJ says you guys are a wounded animal. Either put you down or go owling. Weak Eye Dominant says he needs Melier as competition. Dear me. Bindon's got no pace, says Rhodesy. Bit of a joke for you lads. I was fuming and shouting to get Robbo off the pitch. It turned out it was R&D after I put my glasses on. Robbo weren't even on the pitch. Oh, God. They reminded me of Russell Martin's Southampton in the Premier League. Keep your chin up, everybody. Oh, that's not a good sign then, is it? That's not a good sign. Just to think, says Jack, we could really do with some of those free agents we let slip. Yes, agreed. Completely agree. Michael Fisher says that was like attack versus defence, and they could attack and we couldn't defend, plus their keeper was dominant. He had a good game, didn't he, their keeper? He did. Let's see who else we've got. Pro Brad says, we are nowhere near. Defence is miles off. Hamer was poor. Matty says, is this the Matty that's signing for us? Can someone confirm? I know we're signing Matty. Someone better get the money spent. Keep us in this league. Wow. Rick says, wasn't expecting that result. Marching on together. You and me both, pal. Chris says, I said we needed proven players at this level and I was ridiculed. Who by? Who ridiculed? I certainly didn't ridicule you for that because I agree with you. Do the new owners think owning a club like playing FIFA is like playing FIFA? Not impressed with the new owners, how they're dealing with transfers up the Ramble. Nobody ridiculed you, pal. David Smith says, nice to meet you today. My brother's called David Smith. Nice to meet you today, Jimmy, in the fan zone. And no, it's not your brother here. Nice to meet you too, pal. Thanks for coming and saying hello. Brett says, I was surprised at the empty seats with it being the first game of the season. There were 29,000 there, I think they said, which is close to capacity. So at the start of the game, it were all right. And then as the game went on, it wasn't all right. And it's on Sky, isn't it, as well? There's usually a few absentees. Fraser says, do you think Bristol were just determined to get revenge for the playoffs? Also, it does look like the players are playing. Does it look like the players are playing for the new manager and still reeling after losing Wilder? I'd like to think it's not a manager thing. It may be a system thing in terms of them gelling together. And on Bristol City, they probably did want it more than us today. They looked more up for the fight than we did. Jimmy, it's just one game. I know, pal. I know. We'll get there. We'll check it off tomorrow. We'll be all right. We'll be cheering on Leicester tomorrow and watch along on Ramble FC. I've not bought into the Sayers hype. He's still to prove himself, says Donny Blade. Jamie Dumpling says, forgot to say, but I knew something wasn't right when there was no walkout music. Rob says, Jimmy, no matter how we spin it, the manager having a go at the players on the pitch is poor. Are we sure that's what happened, Rob? Are we sure? Some guy on a bike says, Bristol City fan here. And after you lot totally embarrassed us in the playoffs last season, we really needed that. Congratulations, pal. I thought you played well today. You caught us when we are completely discombobulated, and that's no excuse. I thought you played well. So, yeah, fair play to you. And we did batter you in playoffs, and you have battered us today. So we'll do a virtual handshake on that. Rob Kerr, the first ever Rambler. Always got a special place in my heart. Thank you, Rob, and still is a Platinum Rambler to this day. Going forward, good. Bindon, good. Bristol goalkeeper, good. Need a good centre-back. Straight to the point. Love that, Rob. Hope you're doing well, pal. Thank you for your continued support. Kev says, could have finished 5-5. Missed chances and errors. It could have finished 5-5. It could. A lot of work to do this season. Already started. Madness, says super positive Jack. Pete says, fancy starting with -3 goals, Jimmy. I know, mate. I know. Blade Running says, disappointed with the score. Performance had some really tasty moments. Slick passing, etc. Clearly, there's a lot of positional practice needed for the defending effectively under Ruben Sayers' tactics up the Blades. Yes, absolutely right, pal. Absolutely right. I'm just going to see if there's any more because I'm going to try and wrap up on time tonight. Jake says, hate to say it as I was a big fan of Sayers, but this reminds me of Slav. Way too soon, Jake. Way too soon, pal. I can see where you're going with it, but it's one game. It's one game. You can't say you were a big fan of Sayers and now after one competitive match you're not. Come on, lad. Come on, we're better than that. Tom says, the best part of the day was meeting you in the fan zone today. Oh, thank you, mate. Very, very disappointed with the performance. Surely it can't get worse. It can. That's the Mick McCarthy meme, by the way, that often gets circulated in our chat. But yeah, lovely to meet you too, pal. It was great to meet so many new faces today because I know a lot of names and it's nice to put the faces to the names. So yeah, we're having a good time at Fan Park, weren't we, today, watching Matilda Shakes. So Michael says, for me, R&D, O'Hare, Peck and definitely Brooks should be dropped for the next game. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Scotty says, evening, Jim. Well, that was not what we expected. So disappointing. Reece should not be anywhere near the first team, let alone any part of this team. Concern is how slow we are to get we're taking to get bodies in. I agree with that. Julie says the heads were down because they knew the positions weren't going to work. CJ, love this, says it's consistent with our last 3 promotion seasons. We lost on the first day. Love that. Jack says, and thank you very much for the super chat. £2 super chat says, what's your take on the Phil Brown moment at full time? Didn't like it. Thought it were embarrassing. That was a clear rollicking. I don't think what Sayers were doing today were a rollicking. I think he was getting them all together and saying, look, it's not the wind out of his sails a little bit, but we're going to stick together. It's a long season. I think it were a motivational thing rather than a roll. That's how I interpreted it, and I don't know what was said, obviously. Bindon's a soft centre-back gets Suter back, says Fatty Folk. Nearly a perfect pre-season, says Bobby. One terrible game and people want him gone. This is reactionary, isn't it, mate? This is how people react sometimes. Steve says, the first game of the season is always a bit ropey. As a Leeds fan, last season we drew 3-3 with Pompey. I remember that. But could easily have lost it. You will be fine. I hope so, pal. I think we will. I think we will. Jimmy Civil says it was always going to be a cobbled together with Vinny and an Elgon. Actually played better as an attacking force. Unlucky not to score more. Everything turned to gold for them. Work to do this window. Agree on all of that. John says, I'm worried that Sayers saw R&D as a central defender. I think he sees him as somebody that we needed, a body in there. And I think bringing him off, subbing a centre-half is a huge statement. Tommy says, Jimmy, do you think this system plays to our strengths? Not at the moment. Peck and Hamer are 2 of our best players, but don't seem to fit into what we are doing. Surely adapt the system to suit our players. Possibly, yeah. The tempo was really good first half, and it looked like it were working. It's just the defensive aspect of the game was not there. Funny, last time Sayers was at the Lane, we lost 3-0 too. Connor says, I wouldn't worry too much, mate. It screws you when you take a beating, but I feel you lads will be back. I just hope the same doesn't happen to us against Everton next week. Lee's Master says, well, my first game, it was very disappointing. Davies was poor, losing the ball on many occasions. Reece Norrington Davies, that is. We have to put our chances away. The team needs to pass the ball quicker when in transition, up the Blades, up the Ramble. Thank you, pal. Scott says, good evening. Have you heard the rumours of players being lined up and awaiting approval? seen a tweet going about saying right back, centre midfielder, striker and right winger ready to go and awaiting approval. Thoughts? Would love it. Would love it. Have heard a couple of little bits, but nothing major and not enough to put names out there at minutes, got to be fair. John says, just equalised back in game, 1-1, looking good. Brooks, yes, that waste of space gives the ball away and they break and score. Different game after that, never ever start him again. Pathetic. Not a fan of Andrea Brooks, or Andrea Brooks, as one of our commenters often calls him. Need 2 players in before Swansea. Certainly need a centre-half in, Scott. Right Tweed says, the board must bring in 2 centre-backs before Swansea next week. No excuses not to spend some coin. And I am over time. George says, need 2 defenders in by Swansea. Release Reece Norrington, Davis and Bindon is only good as cover. Brooks is poor, lost so much having no proper right winger. Need a destroyer and a captain. Yeah, this is positive from S. Didsy, 93rd minute winner. Obviously, it has no impact on Sheffield United now, but always love to see Didsy doing well. What a legend. What a legend. You despair at Robbo, I despair at Brooks. So negative, never takes on his man, holds the ball up and passes back or loses the ball altogether. Pathetic. I was shouting at Brooks today to take his man on and he didn't do it once, I don't think. Cole says, don't think the last message went through, so I'll send it again. Was nice meeting you today, Jimmy. You too, pal. Think the team needs work, but there's time left in the window to improve. Onwards and upwards, like that positive thinking. I always sort of come round to a little bit more, okay, we've got it out of a system now, and that's how I'm going to end it today, to be honest. Walton says, hopefully our owners get a reality check on the difficulty of how difficult the Championship is, and if we were to get the Premier League, it's going to be 1,000,000 times harder. That is a distant shot at the minute, isn't it? Goonie Hill says, stupid, we dominated the match. What a performance. We attacked and were punished for attacking performance. Lee Fitness says, still a massive fan of the channel, mate, from the battle lines with Connor. We'll have my fingers crossed for you, pal. Love from the west side of Yorkshire. Thank you, mate. I am in the west side of Yorkshire at the minute, but thank you. I very much appreciate that. John says the defence is desperately needs sorting out, but didn't we all know this apart from those who are in control? Terrible opening result. Yes, that's right. That's right. Team for Birmingham, Jim. We're going to do a 3 Mardy Blades tomorrow, pal. We'll be on tomorrow with 3MB boys, and we'll dissect what's happened today and look forward to Birmingham. So I'll probably talk about it there. Still 135 points to play for. Up all the rambles. Thank you, Wayne. I needed that, to be honest. Brand says, evening, Jimmy. Told you Bindon needs someone at the side of him. Looked like a rabbit in the headlights. Having to play a wing back at centre half is unacceptable. It's been poor, hasn't it? Been poor today. There's no 2 ways about it. I'm going to call it here, actually. There's no 2 ways about it. We were very poor in parts. I think we're unlucky in others, but ultimately a very, very bad day at the office. And like I say, it's not just the result, it's the manner of the result that's quite shocking and highlights just how much we need these reinforcements. So I'll be back tomorrow. I'm on Ramble FC watching the Leicester City versus Sheffield Wednesday game. That's from about 4:30, I think. I think we're on at 4, kickoffs at 5:30, something like that. And then pretty soon after that, we're back on the Blades Ramble at 7 o'clock with the 3 Mardy Blades. What are the boys going to make of that? And I do not honestly know. I've spoken to Dave the Nose. He wasn't ready to talk about it tonight on 90 after 90 because he said he needs time to calm down and gather his thoughts. He was not a happy boy. And we'll also be looking forward to Birmingham in terms of what do we do now? Do we play the peripheral players like we were going to do, or like we'd originally suggested, as you would do in cup games, so that your squad gets minutes in the legs? Or do you go again with a similar team with a few tweaks, hopefully with a new centre-back, but obviously that's a big ask, and try and gel some form into this starting 11? We'll have to wait and see. But thank you to everybody that's joined me tonight. I really do appreciate it. I just want to... I nearly missed the super chat, actually. Cod Light Plays. So I don't know if I read this or I didn't, but I just want to say thank you so much for saying carry on the great work, Jimmy, with a £5 super chat. Thank you, mate. Stuff like this, not just because you're sending me money, but saying carry on the great work. And a lot of people that stopped me in the fan part today and said stuff like, really enjoy what you do and things like that. And it was great that you got your channel back. And it means a lot to me. It means a lot more than people think, because, you know, it's sometimes tough coming on here after a really tough result. And you guys have cheered me up and turned me around a little bit. So I'm going to go try and spend the rest of the evening with Mrs. Ramble. I'm sure the girls are asleep in bed. And then we'll see you tomorrow for the watch along on Ramble FC. And then we'll be back on here with 3MB at 7 o'clock. So thank you all again. Tough to take, but come on, you red and white wizards. Up the blades.